overpowered setups you guys can possibly run. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe as notifications turned on, and let's hop into this. All right, so for the first gun we're gonna be taking a look at, we're gonna be taking a look at the KV broadside. This thing is disgusting right now, and I'm sure you guys have died by it here in Warzone, so I'll give that to you guys there first. But I want to tell you guys my general sort of tactical, lethal, and perk setup. So we have, generally speaking, the smoke grenade, the throwing knife for my lethal, just because I'm playing, you know, Ashika Island primarily, and I want to be able to finish off those down. This is a top tier perk package. If you guys are playing Ashika Island or just Warzone in general, highly recommended. But it works better definitely for Ashika because the fast hands and those, you know, frequent engagements. Now 20, this is gonna give you an increase in your damage range, bullet velocity, hip fire accuracy, and recoil control. We don't really care as much about, you know, the recoil control because we're gonna be hip firing here quite a bit. But I definitely say that you guys should be running this to extend out that range and everything like that. I have this actually tuned here a little primarily, so I kind of maxed it out for that damage range because it actually doesn't sort of like negatively affect other things that we want to be cognizant of. So I have that, and I have it at like a plus 0.10 there on that left side. Dragon's Breath rounds. These things are ridiculous. If you've ever seen just, you know, fire coming out the end of a gun somewhere on, you know, the map, this is probably the reason why. And it's just because these right here, like, while they may not be like a quote unquote, you know, highest damage output possible, they actually really mess with people. And it is just super easy to be able to take people out because, first of all, they can't see you when you're firing at them, and it's just it's a whole mess. So if you ever died by these that they're on the bottom, don't really need to mess with that. Now let's go down here. We got to throw on the 25 round drum mag here. You guys could definitely run the 12 or the 25. It's kind of up to you, but 25 is like, if you want to break this gun the most possible, you know, to make it the most OP, having 25 rounds kind of prevents you from having to reload. You can take out a full squad, finish everybody off, and still have shells in the magazine of Dragon's Breath. It's kind of insane. After that, we're gonna go back in here to the bolt, and we're gonna throw on the Dash Bolt 60. This is gonna increase our fire rate, aka increasing the spammability of this gun. So I mean, who doesn't want to be able to do that? And then for the last attach, movement, and of course hip recoil control. We're just trying to make this thing as fast as possible, so that's why we have this on there. And so that's gonna be my full build there for the KV broadside. This thing is easy to use. It's like a laser beam. That's going to be the ISO Hemlock. Pretty fitting that, you know, 2D get into it. So this is going to be my general overview of this build here for the ISO Hemlock. Now let's get into the attachment breakdown. We have the Harbinger D20. This is going to be a great suppressor to kind of stabilize this gun out, give you that increase in damage range. It's a really solid one. I absolutely love running it, have had no issues. The tune on this is getting a plus 0.99, a plus 0.65. After that, we're gonna go up in here to the barrel section for that Fielder T50. So that increase in damage range, bullet velocity is pretty crucial, along with the recoil control. That hipfire accuracy is just kind of that, you know, extra pro we get. We're not really looking for it, but it's just kind of something that comes with, so we're not going to complain about that. The tune on this is going to be a plus 0.86. I mean, this is just going to stabilize the gun out. This is a beautiful underbarrel on a variety of different guns. It's going to be negative 0.57 and a plus 0.27. Now we're going to go down here and throw on the 45 round mag. This comes with 30 round stock, so we have the 45 on there to kind of, you know, bolster up our general ammo or, you know, capacity. We definitely need that because we're going to be, you know, shooting a lot down range, and we're going to be trying to take out people from a distance. So having more rounds in your magazine is hugely. I was normally speaking running the aim out V4, but because I'm playing so much Ashika Island, pretty much I don't really feel like the aim out V4 is all that necessary, and I pretty much moved over to the Cronin Mini Pro on a lot of my builds that require an optic. So I'd highly recommend you guys do this. If you don't have this Cronin Mini Pro, go use that Expedite shotgun, get it up to level 12, and then you'll have that blue dot sight where you're able to see very much everything out there on the map. It's super nice. The tune on this is going to be a negative 2.61 and all the way maxed out there on the bottom. So that's my full build there for the ISO Hemlock. Hope you enjoy that one. All right, next up, we got to take a look at one of my other ability, and it's got a great damage profile, and the mobility comes in huge on Ashika people just because you have a lot better mobility, your sprint to fire is better, and you're gonna be able to take a lot of people out because, you know, the TTK is so fast. So first thing on here is going to be the FTAC Castle Comp, horizontal and vertical recoil control. The M4 definitely has a little bit of that recoil we have to stabilize. You guys can run this. I haven't messed around too much with running like a suppressor or something on this specific build, but I ran this, and this has been like my tried and true setup here. I also got this from one of my friends. I tried it out, and it was just like, this, in my opinion, is going to be like a necessary thing on any M4 build in the entirety of Warzone. Have to run the High Tower 20. It's kind of a non-negotiable. Definitely should be doing that. The tune on this is going to be a plus 0.16 and negative 0.25. Let's actually move on down here to the underbarrel section, the ability, which is really solid. It's also not going to have any cons, so it won't slow you down, which is like super awesome. So we really like that. And the tune on this is going to be a negative 0.52 and a plus 0.60. It's kind of up to you guys on what you want to be able to do, but the 45 is going to allow you to have better mobility. The game loves to slow you down when you start stabilizing guns out. So we have a pretty stable gun here. We're not going to, so 45, in my opinion, works out great. And then, of course, for our last attachment, we have the FSS OLE. So this is between this and the 7MW laser, depending on what gun, any gun. And it just works out so nicely to be able to have this. And the only con really is the laser is the last thing is going to be a -0.18 and a -31.26. So that's my full build there for the M4. Hope y'all enjoy. For my next gun up here, I want to take a look here at one of my other favorite SMGs to run that's not the Lockman sub. And that's the Vaznev 9K. I've gone ahead and altered a few different things here on it. So let's get in here and show you guys my build for this. So first thing on here, well, this is my general attachment overview, by the way, but first thing on here is going to be the Bruit Cubic Comp horizontal and vertical recoil control. This is definitely necessary, especially since we are speeding this gun up here with some of the other attachments. Definitely got to be able to control that recoil, and so this is really going to help us out with that. The tune on this is going to be a -0.28 and a +0.27. We're going to actually skip the underbarrel section and the barrel. We're going to go up in here to the laser for the FSS OLE. Like I said, this attachment just works out beautifully on a variety of different guns, so we're going to really enjoy using this. The tune on this is going to be -0.16 and a -18.10. And then let's go down here. We got to throw on that 45 round mag. So this thing comes with a 30 round stock, and we have to increase it to 45 just because, I mean, we all know that 30 rounds, usually speaking, even on like a ground loot gun, you just kind of got to reload before you take out somebody. So 45 rounds is definitely necessary on this gun. It's actually going to be the rear grip for the True Tac grip for sprint to fire and ADS speed. We definitely really like this. It's going to negatively affect our recoil control, but the Vaznev doesn't really have too much recoil you have to worry about, so that's entirely okay. And the tune on this is going to be a -0.45 and a -0.17. And like before this, we would run the Marquee R7 or the Otrizat, but because of the broadside shotgun being brought into the game and it being kind of within that same family, more or less, we actually have out for ADS speed and a -1.86 there on the bottom. So that's my full build there for the Vaznev Hack 56. So this thing is really easy to be able to use. It's just such a good gun as well. I mean, the iron sights are amazing, so you really don't have much to complain about here on this gun. So let's get into it. You can see my general attachment overview here on this gun. I mean, a lot of these attachments are going to be pretty simple, but let's get in and break it down for you. So first thing on here is going to be the Gauge 9 Mono. This is going to be pretty similar to that Harbinger D20, but it's just going to be a little bit better here for this gun in particular. So we run the Gauge 9 Mono. This is a really solid suppressor, and I absolutely love running it. The tune on the section, and once again, run the FTAC Gripper 56. Just such a good underbarrel to be able to run. You really don't got to do too much to it. And this is just, you know, something you can throw on pretty much any gun and it'll be good. The tune on this is going to be a +0.54 and a +0.17. At that, let's go up in here to laser, and we're going to speed this gun up here with the FSS OLE. Like I said, it's got no cons. It just stabilizes the gun out and speeds it up. So it's just a really fun thing to be able to run because this is more of an aggressive AR. After that, we're going to go down here and we're going to run the high velocity rounds. This will just help increase our bullet velocity. The damage range, you're really not going to notice any decrease in it. It's nothing that's actually going to like drop off your TTK at any point that it's actually noticeable. So we just actually run that. It's going to help our shots actually hit faster. 0.90. So we got that. And then for our last attachment, we have the 60 round mag. So you guys can run the 40 or the 60 round mag. The 60, I just run it because it works out very nicely for me to be able to have 60 rounds in the mag. I could probably speed this gun up even a little bit more, so kind of do what I did for the M4 by running like a 40 round mag or 45 on that gun, but 40 for this gun instead of running the 60. But the 60s just worked out so green. Just run up to a cap, don't be Randy, and I'm out. Peace.